Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. If you don't know me, my name is Duhamel Bentley, and today we're actually bringing you guys a very different, very unexpected video, and that is going to be Pat McGrath. Oh my god. So first and foremost, let's talk about how beautiful this box is. So incredible. Oh my goodness, the artwork in here is just so beautiful. I'm shocked every time I see it. I love that there's a little bit of detail here with the logo. It's raised. It's just really, really cool. It reminds me a little bit of those like pencil cases. I don't know if you guys ever used one, but they used to have like this little, rope around it, and then you would just kind of like open it and voila, here is, oh girl. So what we're talking about today is going to be the Mothership Rose #2 palette. This is a limited edition, guys. Palette. It is so incredible. It's so heavy. It's like, ooh, girl. And the price point, girl. She's $125. Hello. Definitely the highest price point palette I've ever used and owned. As you can see, I've literally not even taken out the little sticker, because I want to make sure Miss, Rose Divine #2, she's pristine forever and ever and ever. So from the back, you have engraved here, Pat McGrath information. You have engraved here as well. So I mean, it's a really cool, different experience from anything and everything I've used in the past. Love the logo here as well. Let me open this palette up for you guys. First impressions, really beautiful, really different. I honestly never really thought that I would be reviewing a Pat McGrath palette here for you guys, but thanks to Felipe, he gifted me this for, lovers do. So thank you so much, Felipe, for this. And girl, if you want to continue to see Felipe's gifts or my gifts to Felipe, or just videos in general, girl, subscribe to the channel. Binge watch, you know it's a thing. All right, so a couple of things. 10 shades, 10 beautiful shades. I personally think that the star of the show is this shadow right here. I think that all of the shadows are really beautiful, but I definitely think, oh girl, miss thing over here, honey, is it. Now, inside the box, when you open the box, it has all of the names of the actual shadows, which I think is really, really nice, because sometimes we forget, and she couldn't engrave all of that information back here. So you do have the actual names inside the box. Really beautiful names. I definitely think it's within the theme. I love the fact that this mirror is not only high-end, it's heavy, and it also looks really nice and diamond cut. I don't know if you guys can pick it up a little bit there, but it has a really nice little cut to it, which typically higher end mirrors do contain when you purchase higher end homes, or even if you are just, I don't know, remodeling with a higher end thing. They typically look a little bit more chiseled and cut and decored, and I've never seen a mirror decored within the palette like this. And I mean, to be honest with you, quality is amazing. It does add definitely a bit of weight to the actual palette. So to keep that in mind, personally, I don't use mirrors, with palettes, just because not the vibe. I definitely check things out and I'm like, yes. But do I do my makeup with these mirrors? No. Typically what I do when I do my makeup, it's either sitting here in front of you guys or actually standing in front of a tall mirror. I actually enjoy standing in front of the tall mirror the best, just because I just feel a little bit more free. I don't feel as confined. Over here I have all the lights and the makeup, and I have my little hand mirror, which helps a lot, but I do prefer to do an actual standing up makeup. So I'm thinking maybe in the future I want to buy a standing on ring light that's tall enough for me to do my makeup, for those in-depth reviews, because I definitely feel a little bit more at ease, a little bit more comfortable when I am standing and doing my makeup rather than sitting in front of the camera. I think standing in front of the camera might be a nice little difference for once. So back to the palette, guys. Incredible. Incredible. This is a limited edition, like I said. $125, which is nuts. You know, it's the most expensive palette I personally own, and I'm loving it. I have a little bit of a bone to pick. You already know in the Doofy channel, honey, we are questioning it all. So, first and foremost, let's appreciate the grunge moment I have going on. This is very delicious, very beautiful, you know, very dark and evil, and I'm ready for it. I absolutely love the way this turned out. I loved all of the formulas and how they worked within each other and on themselves. I love the fact that she encourages you, actually, she almost instructs you to actually use the formulas wet rather than dry, which was kind of interesting because I know a lot of the times, you know, a lot of the times brands do suggest a wet formula, but she was also like all for it, right? So what do we do here? My bone to pick with this palette is that there is 10 shades. 10 out of those shades, 2 of them are mattes. 2, which is a problem for me, because that to me limits my entire situation. It limits my entire equation. And I typically don't like shimmery shadows all over the lid. Like, it's a vibe here and there. If you want to be grungy and dirty and sexy and sultry, it's a vibe. However, for $125, 2, just a little bit too short for me. If maybe she would have given me 4, or yeah, 4, I think it's 4 good enough, because I get it. I understand that this is a different formula. Something really cool about her, Pat McGrath in particular, is that Pat McGrath has a specific formula for specific shadowing. So what this means is that she goes into formula, she goes into the lab, and she sits there. I don't know if she actually sits there, but I'm assuming she sits there and she formulates, you know, what works for the specific formula and specific shadow, which is lovely. I definitely think that goes into the price point. A similar brand that does that is Jeffree Star Cosmetics. Of course, I'm not comparing the quality of Pat McGrath with Jeffree Star. However, I will say this, I don't think the quality is that different. I definitely think that you don't have to spend $125 to get a really beautiful eyeshadow look. I think you can even go with Morphe and get something really, really beautiful. So don't feel forced, you know, to buy something that's $125 to get something beautiful. This is definitely, you know, an iconic piece. This is a collector's piece. This is definitely, you're not only paying for the name, you're paying for the packaging, you're paying for the formula. Like, there's a lot of things going into this. So don't feel pressured to buy this particular, you know, launch or any particular launch. By that means, you know, just because it's what's popular or whatever. Personally, the reason why we got it is because we don't have anything from Pat McGrath, and we know the quality's there, and we love good quality makeup, period. That's like what we do and what we enjoy about makeup. So let me stop rambling and let's get to the swatching, girl, because there's a lot to talk about here. Now, let me swatch the first 5 shades here, thanks to my first 5 fingers. So let's start off here with the lightest one. Then my actual favorite, which is this matte, very beautiful blush kind of tone. All right, so these are the first 5, very vibrant as you can see here. Let's swatch. Now, please keep in mind, swatching is very unimportant, irrelevant in my opinion, because your hands are prepared differently, you know, than your skin. You're not using the shadows as you were to swatch, so please keep that in mind. However, oh my God, how beautiful and metallic are those? Very beautiful as well. I feel like this is a good complementary. This is more of a satin finish rather than the actual matte. The mattes are very creamy. The mattes are very buttery, very creamy, which is very lovely. I did enjoy that a lot. Overall, I think this is really beautiful, and I think this works really great. So let me swatch the other 5, and then what I want to do is I want to play with a couple wet, so you can see the difference between them wet and dry. So let me grab the palette here. I was a little disappointed in this first burgundy shade. It felt like it lacked luster. You know, I felt the same thing with the Mercury retrograde. She actually had a very similar burgundy tone, and I was disappointed in that one too. So I don't know if maybe it's just the tone, the formula, I'm unsure, but this is the second row. Definitely the second row is my favorite. This is iconic. This is a star of the show. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts, girl. This is it right here. If you're buying the palette for any reason at all, let it be for this one right here, girl. And of course, as you know, I have that one in my lids right now. Little monochrome moment. I do believe that it gets a little bit lost in translation, so please keep that in mind. But I think it works really, really beautiful. So let me swatch these guys here. Hello, so beautiful. Love that. All right, so these are the 5 swatches for the second row. I'm sorry, this is a little awkward for me, but as you can see, this is the matte burgundy shade. It just lacks luster. It's a little patchy. It's just for $125. I don't know. I just don't love it. I don't think it works well. I'm using mainly that shadow on my eyes today, and it performed well, but it could have performed better, and especially for the price. I 110% believe that it should have, not it could have, it should have performed better, because it is what it is, you know? However, these guys over here, like, how beautiful is it? I actually have that on as a highlighter on today, and I think it works so beautifully. I definitely love all of these. You know, such a gorgeous rose tone, beautiful brown. I could have done without this one, to be honest with you. I feel like this one could have gone, both of these could have been like, thanks girl, but can we get 2 more? Maybe if I were to create a palette with Pat, Auntie Pat, darling, hold up, let's talk about this. If I had a choice, I would have swatched these 2, swapped them, bye girls, and maybe I would have added a deeper brown, just for intensity, like if you wanted to create smokier, nastier, grungier looks, deep brown would be nice. Maybe something, I feel like something a little bit more rose, because this is called Divine Rose number 2. And I mean, as pink as this palette gets is this. This is as pink as it gets. So, honey, where's the Divine? I mean, I get the Divine. I'm not gonna lie to you. I get the Divine. The Divine is literally, you know, all around here. This is the Divine. But I would have been okay without those 2. And I would have been okay with those 2 being matte. You know what I'm saying? I would have been really happy with that. I also would have been okay without this top shade right here. Maybe if this would have been a very nice kind of lavender lilac-y pink, this would have been iconic. I think it would have changed the entire concept, but I feel like they attempted to be very neutral, very wearable. I could have also been done, you know, gold, girl. This could have been a rose gold. Like, this could have been a legit B.A. rose gold. It's just gold, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, gold is like so 2000, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's cute, but let's go. Come on, you know, let's move it on. Let's go on. That's just my intake. However, I will say this. Quality is clearly there. Packaging is clearly there. You know, opportunity is there. I've created and prepared several looks for you guys because I wanted to definitely, you know, dig in and explore this and bring it a genuine, true review for you guys, because personally, $125 to me, in my financial circumstances, Felipe's financial circumstance, that's an investment. Like, that is an investment. The Huda Beauty ones are an investment, $67, like $125. There's a lot of other palettes, you know what I'm saying? I will say this, I'm not taking away from that, and I'm not cheapening out the product, because I understand why it's $125. Packaging alone, I understand why. The quality of the shadows, except for, you know, here and there, it's okay. It's actually pretty good. However, I'm just not cutting corners with the most expensive palette that I've ever owned, which is this one as of today, 2021. I just don't want to have, and you know, I don't know how I feel about this shadow or this shadow. It's an $125 palette. That to me matters. So I want to make sure that every single shadow is cutthroat. She's ready for it. She's giving it to me and ready to wow all of you guys watching out in the street and in this video. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like my intake for it. And I'm not just saying this $125 palette needs to do that. Honey, every palette we bring in this video and in this channel, that's what we're expecting. If you are putting out a product, that's exactly what the Doofy channel is expecting to promote to you guys. That every single shadow is ready to bring it. We don't have time. It is 2021, honey, and we don't have the time to be playing around. We don't. Not even Elf, girl. Not even Elf is playing around anymore. So what does that tell you? But overall, you guys, I will say this. Absolutely beautiful. I think, you know, it's an experience. I think it's a really beautiful experience. So let me do this. Let me see where I can wipe my fingers. All right, I'm just gonna, you know, thigh wipe. Girl, don't judge me, you know what good thigh wipe. All right, so what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna use my little Farcelli moment, because it has gold, you know, very fitting for the moment. I'm just gonna very lightly spritz my hand, and we're gonna go back in and touch those babies wet. Now, the ones that call my attention to touch wet are, oh girl. I mean, I think she looks the same. I don't think she looks that much more. Another one I really, really liked is this one. I think this is a beautiful, kind of like the rose gold of the gang. I really like that. But I mean, I feel like she looks pretty much the same. And let's do 1/3. My finger's a little dry. Let me make sure, honey. You know, let's make sure. Let's go with the glitter. All right, so this is what they look like with the actual wet fingers. I'm gonna go in my forearm. This is what they look like swatched wet. Now, to be honest with you, some of them are here, some of them are here. I don't really see a difference in how the pigment picks up, so do with that as you will. However, she does recommend you to get the most intensity out of the palette to wet it, whether it's with a little bit of water, you know, in your brush, or a little bit of setting mist, whichever one. You know, do you remember the whole, you know, MAC Fix Plus or the Morphe, you know, and ready to go? If that's your vibe, that's your vibe. Just keep in mind also, I feel like nobody really talks about this, but keep in mind, once you wet a formula, sometimes it's hard for them to go back from that. Like, they become a little bit muddy, and you kind of have to like circle back in there. I will say this, on first impressions, on touching these guys wet, they feel the same. They don't really, they're not giving me anything different. They're not giving me less, you know, pigmentation. I mean, overall, I will say this, beautiful, astronomical, glorious, but there's a lot of opportunity in my opinion. This is definitely incredible for a makeup collector. For someone that doesn't have Pat McGrath and you want to try Pat McGrath, my pencil is shook, girl. She fell. Wait, no, my mascara. I advise you to, you know, do your research for sure, and just know that just because you're paying this price point doesn't mean it's going to be perfect. It is great and it's good and it looks beautiful and it performs beautifully. However, I don't know. Am I obsessed? Am I going to run by all of the motherships? No, I don't think so. I feel like a really good way to start, maybe, if you don't want to invest the 125, she has quads that are, I think they're like ranging from the 30s to the 60s, around there. I mean, at that point in time, for a quad, I would, you know, financially it makes more sense to get the $125 pan. Because if we break that up and we subdivide that, it's $12.50 a shade. So, you know, that's not too expensive. I just feel like overall, it does get a little pricey. And I think she's cool. I think she's great. Is she iconic? She can be, but she just has a lot of room to grow, in my opinion. That's just my truth. That is my verdict. Nothing against Pat McGrath. I think she's incredible. She's actually the first, I just recently read this, I don't know where, but she's the first makeup artist to receive this incredible award that nobody ever has, you know, received. And I'm extremely proud, you know, that she is an African-American woman. You know, I'm extremely proud to support her actual products, you know, in this channel. But I have to be truthful and honest with you. I also have to be extremely realistic with the fact that maybe you care to spend $125 or maybe you don't, you know, but if you do, I want to make sure that you're aware of the little bits of flaws. And if you don't, then I want to make sure you're aware how beautiful and incredible this is. If you are looking to purchase any of the Darling Mothership palettes or anything from Pat McGrath, I would advise you to go to Sephora.com or Sephora in person if you want to see them. You can also purchase them in Pat McGrath. For example, this particular Mothership number 2 limited edition palette, which sounds incredibly beautiful. I want to like put it in the wall and like not touch it ever. It's truly a piece of art in my opinion, you know, for makeup collectors and lovers. It is what it is, you know, it is what it is. So this is exclusively on Sephora. You know, I know they do offer it as well on their actual site. Personally, I haven't really heard of anywhere else where they sell Pat McGrath. Maybe outside of the United States, they have other retailers that do support and carry Pat McGrath. However, this little baby girl right here is, you know, Sephora exclusive and Pat McGrath exclusive. And again, in my opinion, the star of the show is VR Sex. The name is just even crazy. It's Sextraterrestrial, not extra, but Sextraterrestrial. So you're a little Sextraterrestrial slave. Beautiful. I mean, overall, I think this is really beautiful. I loved it. Like I said, I could have done without a couple of shades, but overall, it works beautifully. And I think they did a really good job. I'm excited to have been gifted this. I'm so blessed, you know, to be able to show it and share it with you guys, and so blessed that Felipe was so kind enough, you know, to gift me this beautiful piece of art. Like, I don't even want to use it. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that weird? Like, whenever you buy makeup, you're like, oh, you know, I don't want to use it. I just want to keep it like this forever. Now, I will note something. As you can see here, my box is pretty banged up. I would have loved to maybe for $125. I would have loved to have seen maybe a Tom Ford looking kind of box with the same design, but Tom Ford protection. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that would have been more, you know, nicer. I do love this. I think this is very unique, very beautiful, incredible piece of art. However, if I want to keep this, now it's damaged just because I didn't handle it with care and Sephora. So just a little tidbit, you know, me picking, you know, picking at the goods just because, again, it is what it is. With that said, you guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up, the little notification bell, and honey, in Pat McGrath's words herself, it's engraved around here, binge watch. You know it's a thing. I will catch you on the next one. Bye!